Hey guys, Cody here with Cyber Chat, and I want to talk a little bit about Harold Ramis. And as a lot of you may know, Harold Ramis recently passed away. It's very unfortunate, and a lot of fans in the Ghostbusters universe, Ghostbusters community, were highly upset. I know I was. He was a really good actor, and he was really a genius as far as coming up with different ways to comedy. He was a pioneer. If it wasn't for him, we might not have the comedy that we have today. He kind of started that whole trend of being kind of vulgar. You know, you can be vulgar and still be funny at the same time. And everybody knows him, of course, for Groundhog's Day, Meatballs, movies like that, co-starring Bill Murray, and he directed those. But the one that is my favorite, and a lot of people's favorite, is, of course, Ghostbusters 1 and 2. More specifically, the first Ghostbusters. That movie, to me, defined my childhood and who I was. And I was born in the mid-'80s, so I caught Ghostbusters 2 was when I first got introduced to Ghostbusters. But still, Ghostbusters 1 has a special place in my heart. And as you can see by my little collection I got going on back here, I was more influenced by the real Ghostbusters cartoon than I was the movies as a child. And Harold Ramis played character Egon in the movies, and he was my favorite character. And I was, like I said, I was really upset when I heard that he passed away. But I don't know, he was like the nerd of the group. I mean, he was, of course, Dan Aykroyd's character Ray was a nerd too, but he was more of the nerd that when I was a kid, I wanted to be Egon. And it was because of something so insignificant as the fact that I had glasses when I was a little kid, and Egon had glasses, so I would play Egon as a kid, running around the yard with my proton pack and things like that. So as an adult now, I look back, and Ghostbusters was a big part of my childhood. I had every Ghostbuster toy that ever came out for the real Ghostbusters franchise and the toy line. So, you know, it was just, they just defined who I was. And like, if it wasn't for Harold Ramis, then we wouldn't have Ghostbusters, and we wouldn't have, of course, the real Ghostbusters. So, and a lot of people, you know, they want to say, well, you know, he did some mediocre stuff here and there. Harold Ramis was a pioneer. He was the first person to write a sci-fi comedy, like a big budget sci-fi comedy. I mean, before that, you didn't have, you know, you had a comedy movie that had the need for, you know, millions of dollars worth of special effects. And it was genius the way they did that. They helped mold Harold Ramis's vision for what he wanted Ghostbusters to be. And with the help of Ivan Reitman, the director, of course, they were all friends. Him, Dan Aykroyd, and Harold Ramis were all friends, so they just clicked. And it was one of those rare moments where they knew they had something special when they started filming. I remember reading about how Ivan Reitman said the very first scene they shot in Ghostbusters was when they were coming down the street wearing the proton packs, wearing the full uniform, the full flight suits and everything. And the first scene, they were running down the street, and it was that montage scene where the Ghostbusters were finally getting popular. People were calling them. And he knew, and everybody knew, this is something special. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is, you know, it really makes me sad that such a great actor and a great director and writer is gone. And I'm really more upset because I never really got the chance to meet him, and I always wanted to. I've just never been able to. You know, he wasn't really one to go to comic conventions. You know, that's Ernie Hudson. Ernie Hudson's always going to comic conventions, and I'll meet him one day, I know. But Harold Ramis is just my favorite out of the bunch. You know, he's more than Bill Murray. I know people are like, oh, we got to have Bill Murray. But, you know, Harold Ramis was my favorite. I just wanted to make this video to show my appreciation for Harold Ramis and the Ghostbusters franchise, and to all the actors who played the Ghostbusters, Dan Aykroyd, Ernie Hudson, Bill Murray, of course. But the franchise had such a great impact on my life that I couldn't help but just want to make a quick little video about Harold Ramis and what he meant to me during my childhood. And I looked up to this character. I looked up to Egon. You know, he was the quintessential Ghostbuster for me. And you really can't have Ghostbusters, you know, without thinking about Egon, in my opinion. But Harold Ramis will be greatly missed, and hopefully they'll get on to making Ghostbusters 3. Will they? I don't know. We'll find out. But that's it, guys. Rest in peace, Egon. Have a good day.